tricky one. Number 10 is a tie between two animes. Yeah, I'm doing this again. Suck it up. Pokemon and Digimon. Now we all know that Pokemon and Digimon were huge back in the day during our childhoods. I mean, who doesn't remember back in the days of old when you couldn't walk into a classroom without someone either mentioning something about Pokemon or Digimon. But at first it was just, generally it was about Pokemon. Pokemon was fucking massive as a show, in school anyway, from what I remember. But then this new guy came along. This kind of, it was similar, but it was kind of different in its own little ways. This thing called Digimon came along, and then everyone just looked down at it. They just despised it really, really badly because, well, everyone just thought it was just basically a pure rip-off of Pokemon. I mean, Pokemon, Digimon, a bunch of kids who meet these weird, strange creatures, form friendships and become stronger from their bonds of friendship. I guess you can kind of see why the kids thought this way, but in fact they're two very different shows. Pokemon can't talk, Digimon can talk. Pokemon on one hand is more of a kind of the adventure kind of series, as in like Ash travelling from here, being a weak little trainer, travelling from Pallet Town with just a Pikachu, to travelling all over Japan, becoming the greatest Pokemon trainer ever, while this Digimon was more of a action-packed and character development type series, both of which are very good, but you just can't really pick between one of them. Well, I can't really. Oh, and in case you're wondering, I loved season 1 of Digimon, but I think Tamers is probably my favorite series season out of all Digimon. Pokemon, I loved the majority of Pokemon. Like, I loved watching every season, every series that just kept coming and going. But I really didn't think it was going so well. I felt like I started going downhill once Dawn came into the series, as in like during Diamond and Pearl series. I mean, the games were still fucking amazing. 4th gen, 5th gen, awesome Pokemon. But as far as the series went, I really think that's where it just really kind of took it down. If I had to pick something I prefer the most, I prefer Pokemon the games, because it's probably one of my favorite game franchises out there. And Digimon, in terms of Digimon, I really wasn't too fond of their games. The only thing that came out of them that I thought was really cool were these. Who remembers fucking Digimodify? We were so badass back then. Nowadays I just look fucking ridiculous. But I may look ridiculous playing a Digivice with a Yu-Gi-Oh card, but then again, I'm the one with the Digivice and you're not. I know that this is technically the number 9 spot, but let's go back to the number 10 spot for a minute. Let's, like Digimon. Season 3, Digimon Tamers basically. Guilmon was voiced by a particular voice actor named Steve Blum, and the reason why I'm talking about Steve Blum is, well, Guilmon wasn't the first, well, Steve Blum didn't really make his name for voicing Guilmon. He did, however, get recognized for voicing another character. A character now known as Spike Spiegel. Number 9 is Cowboy Bebop. Now, the problem with this is that Cowboy Bebop is a really loved show and a well-respected show among the anime community, but the problem is that I'm not the smartest person, so I'm not going to be the best at describing why this show is so great. So I'm going to dive in and see what I can do. I'm just going to say what I like about the show. It's just cool. It's smooth. It's action-packed. It's jazz. The main characters are as such: Spike Spiegel, Jet owns the ship, and Spike is basically a bounty hunter, and they collect bounty heads to keep their ship intact and keep their bellies full. They also meet a girl named Faye Valentine who joins their bounty hunter team, and she's lost her memory, so she's kind of like, dude, who the hell am I? Where am I? Where am I from? What is all this shit? trying to figure out where she's from. And the last member is Ed, a character whose gender I could not figure out the first time I ever saw Ed. Ed is a girl, but I just found it really confusing. Cowboy Bebop, it's a damn good show. It's very enjoyable, it's very watchable. I mean, like, it's not very heavily plot based, the characters are interesting, and you just want to watch it just to see what are they going to do next. I mean, what's the next bounty head going to be like? What kind of mayhem are they going to get themselves into? What kind of funny shit is Ed going to say next? That's what I just love about it. And it's a good show. Most people who watch this will find something they like about it. Some people love Spike, some people hate Spike. Some people think Ed is the funniest thing in the world, or people think Ed is a fucking idiot. Well, there's not really a whole lot I can say about this series now, except for... bang. Aw, yeah. You were all expecting this at some point or another, but I think it goes without saying that Dragon Ball Z is a damn good anime. Some people have Bleach, some people have Naruto, some people have One Piece. I have Dragon Ball Z. Now let's just forget all the haters, all the lovers, everyone in between, everyone who thinks this show is overrated, everyone who thinks this show is underrated, everyone who's just sick of it, all the fans who ruin this show. Let's just ignore them. And to everyone who thinks that Dragon Ball Z should be higher on my list, should be lower on my list, if I see that in the comment section, I am going to fucking block you. Do you know what that means? This is my list, as in it says my top 20 favorite animes, as in my favorite. I'm not making your list. Make your own damn list. If I can make a video, you can surely make your own damn video too. This is my opinion, and I'm sticking with Dragon Ball Z. But there's a catch. I also like Dragon Ball as well. And as hated and as mocked as it is, I like Dragon Ball GT. Which is why the number 8 spot goes to Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT, because I can find something I love in all three of them. And it's basically just one very long continuous show. I mean, like, yes, it's 3 different shows, but basically it's just one big storyline, one massive storyline that probably goes on for about, let's see, if you add up all the episodes from Dragon Ball Z, that's about 500 episodes of anime. I've watched all of Dragon Ball Z at least twice, and most people have. Dragon Ball GT, yeah, I've watched that about twice. I've only watched Dragon Ball fully once. Still a damn good show though. Now let's start at the beginning. Dragon Ball is the story of Goku, who travels the world fighting demons, collecting Dragon Balls, and being awesome. Enough said. Not really. Gotta go into depth a bit more about that. The hand-to-hand combat for the action scenes is really good. It really makes you feel like you're watching something awesome. It's not just a case of punch, 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 energy attack, fucking filler, stand around, talk dramatically at your opponent, I'm going to defeat you. No, you're not! The combat in Dragon Ball is so much better than Dragon Ball Z. As in, it's more skillful, it's more combat, it's more like actual fucking martial arts. Also, the amount of characters that are in the show is amazing, as in, like, there are crap tons of characters. Yes, like, most people know them. There's lots of side characters and all that crap, but back in the day, before Dragon Ball Z, characters like Yamcha and Tien were amazing, as in, like, out of Dragon Ball, I think Tien might be like my most favorite character probably. He's really cool. He's a badass. Then Dragon Ball Z came along. Actually, let's go on to Dragon Ball Z now while we're at it. Dragon Ball Z starts with basically, let's see, taking the 80% of the entire Dragon Ball Z cast and pushing them aside, and basically being about, okay, extremely motherfucking powerful. Okay, by the end of Dragon Ball, Goku was stronger than Kami, and Kami is a god. And if you consider Goku from the start of Dragon Ball Z to the very end when he kills Kid Buu, that's a lot. That's a big difference in terms of strength. Dragon Ball Z is more kind of action based. It's more who's the strongest warrior. Then we have the explanation behind Goku. Why does he have a tail? Why does he transform into a giant destructive ape at during a full moon? Where does he come from? Why does he have these powers? Explain. It explains. And it turns out Goku is part of this incredible warrior race of badasses who were all wiped out by an evil tyrant named Frieza. Anyways, there's the bad guys. Frieza, the evil tyrant who destroyed Goku's home planet. Then we have Cell, who's basically the perfect warrior. He took bits of every single character, took all their techniques, basically building up to be the ultimate warrior. Then Gohan outshines his dad and becomes the new hero of Earth. And that's where some people actually think this series should have ended. But instead, they continued on anyway, and brought back the whole idea that Goku is the strongest, Vegeta is just that much below him, and then they create this weird, pink, regenerative, magical monster, Boo. I really don't get how it works. It's just a case of Boo can just keep regenerating. If you blow off his arm, regenerates it. I really didn't. When we watched it as kids, we didn't understand how he's so indestructible. How he keeps taking hits and he won't fucking die. But no, Dragon Ball Z was definitely an awesome series to watch. It's very long, and the rewatchability of it is pretty incredible, considering this anime is more than 250 episodes long. But well, that's a lot now. That's a lot of anime. But seeing as how I've seen it many times myself, I could just throw on maybe some DVDs of Dragon Ball Z, maybe play some games. I can have it just playing in the background while maybe I lower the volume of the TV. It's just an enjoyable thing to have on even, just in the background. But something that's probably stands out more than just the show itself is probably the movies, because the movies are fantastic. And now we move on to Dragon Ball GT, the one that everyone hates, that everyone dislikes. Most people hate and dislike it. Personally, I don't, for the most part anyway. Okay, but I'll have to admit that the start of it, traveling across the galaxy, searching for the Black Star Dragon Balls, that it seemed like they were trying to recreate that old shine, that nostalgic feeling, trying to get back into the old ways of Dragon Ball, as in it's an adventure across the galaxy, searching for the Black Star Balls. But because Goku is so powerful, as in you could probably just bang, flick God, and he'd be fucked. That we have to somehow Deus Ex Machina power down Goku, just so it makes it fair to the other bad guys. And then just make him travel across the galaxy, because the Earth is too small. I mean, when Pan was just a toddler, a young toddler or something, she was able to do a lap of the planet in a couple of hours. But once they arrive back on Earth and all the crazy shit starts happening again, and the Shadow Dragons come along, it's just a case of, let's take the old hero Goku, let's power him up to fuck for one last hurrah. And it doesn't disappoint. When Dragon Ball GT finally ends, you feel like you've just finished an amazing journey. You've grew up with this amazing pal of yours, but now it's come to an end. You've grown up, years have gone by, and it's just a case of all the fighting has come to an end because there's no one left to fight. It just becomes absolute peaceful bliss. Then unfortunately we have the horrible Dragon Ball GT movie, which just fucking ruins it for me. Really. But no, Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT were a pretty big part of my not really childhood, more of my teenage years. For most people, it's where their anime addiction started. It's what they grew up with, and I love it. It's just fucking, it's good. It's damn good. This is not good. Number 7 is Lucky Star. Yeah! That's right! I put Lucky Star above Dragon Ball Z. What the fuck are you gonna do about it? Come at me! Come on, fanboys! Let's do it! You and me, right now! I put Lucky Star, the most shittiest, girly, fucking moe shit above the most awesome packed fucking Dragon Ball Z stuff, what are you gonna do? Here's what you can do. Nothing. Because it's my list, I can do whatever the hell I want. And besides, this list technically isn't definite because I can easily change this list. There's actually a couple of animes I left off this list, but if I put them on, this fucking thing would never end. So just deal with it. Just sit down and deal with it. Now, what to say about Lucky Star? Well, one of the main reasons I like it is just it just comes off as so geeky. Now, not geeky in a bad way, as in like, it's geeky because I'm a big anime fan and because they make so many references to basically other animes and other games. It's just like, I know that reference. Oh, I know what game you're playing. Oh, I get that. But it's just a kind of a weird, it's weird. As in like, okay, it's the most colourful, bright and moe-ish anime I've ever fucking watched. Now you're thinking, hey, what kind of story does this show have? I mean, like, there's a couple of girls in it, but like, what are they doing? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's basically 4 girls who just basically sit around and talk all day. Maybe make reference to like fucking anime or games, World of Warcraft. I really don't get what's so fucking... What's the appeal? It's just, it's such a relaxing show, as in like, it doesn't frighten you, it's not a horror anime, it's not an action anime, it doesn't excite you, it's just a pure relaxing anime. It's like, you can just sit there and just chill. You don't need to, there's no intricate plot lines, there's no love interests, there's just nothing to think about. You just sit there and let your brain turn to mush. Okay, let's talk about the characters, but just the main 4 characters anyway. We have Konata, who's basically a short, blue-haired, massive otaku. And from what I've studied, Konata is probably the reason why everyone loves this show. She's apparently like every single otaku guy's dream girl. Let's see, she's short, she has blue hair, she has a fucking... she's really good at games, she's a massive anime fan, and that's basically the appeal of Konata. Also a fun thing to note, but most of you should know this anyway, Konata is voiced by Wendy Lee. Wendy Lee is also the voice actress who plays Haruhi Suzumiya from The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. They did this in the Japanese version, as in like the Japanese voice actress who played Haruhi also did Konata, so when the English dubbing came around they were thinking, hey, we got Wendy Lee to do the English voice of Haruhi, let's do what the Japanese did and get her to do Konata as well. And it worked perfectly. Except there's an odd scene in Lucky Star where Konata is cosplaying as Haruhi, and then she puts on the voice of Haruhi, but she goes back and forth between Haruhi and Konata. That it's just really fucking weird. It's just like, wait a second, oh my god, it's like I'm watching 2 animes at once, but it's like... Then we have the character that everyone loves and everyone thinks the hottest girl in fucking Lucky Star, Miyuki. As in like, okay, she's basically the tall, pink-haired, big tits, glasses, moe, very polite moe girl doing her moe things, being ultra fucking moe. What's moe, you ask? Not a fucking clue. It's just basically, what's a good way to describe it? It's difficult to explain what moe is or how to be moe. It's just kind of like, you're either born moe or you're not. It's kind of like, it's something to do with being cute, I think. Or just appealing to the audience. I'm really not sure how the fuck this works. And then we have the twin sisters, the Hiragi sisters. We have the older twin, Kagami, who's basically she's described in the end of an episode as a Sundara character. I don't know what that fucking means, but it might mean something to you, so I'm just gonna throw it out there. Anyway, she's the more kind of angry, has her shit together, and she's the one who constantly gets A's in her tests. She works hard what she does. And she's also kind of one of those characters who's like, oh my god, I gained 2 pounds last night, damn, my diet isn't working. Oh, I'm hopeless. It's kind of comical, but she's not as cute as her sister anyway, who... Not a word until this is finished. Tsukasa is the younger twin, and because she's the younger twin, that must mean that she's the exact opposite of Kagami. Instead of having long hair, she has short hair. Instead of getting A's in class, she's barely passing her exams. Because Kagami is more the kind of strong type, I mean Tsukasa is more kind of wimpier, but she's also butt fucking cute. She's much cuter than her older sister. And those are basically the 4 characters of Lucky Star. What else is there to this show? There's, as I mentioned earlier, there are references up the ass in this show. As in, like, from Yu-Gi-Oh! To Pokemon, from Haruhi to Gundam, from World of Warcraft to... what else is there? 24, I don't know why. There's a lot of references in the show. I find it kind of cool that I actually got most of those references. I don't know if that's good or bad or something anyway. There's even a Code Geass, but they kind of bleep that out a little bit, so I barely picked up on that one. I just barely got it. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about Lucky Star. Moving on! What do you get when you mix speed metal, people with superpowers, and crazy fucking characters? Well, hopefully you get Needless. Now normally I would say something like, oh, it's your typical fighter and they use superpowers, but no, that'd be wrong. Needless is full on fucking throttle with its crazy shit action and its fucking stupidness. Stupid in a funny way. Now a minute ago I did mention something about superpowers. Yeah, that was it. Here's a small list of the powers you're going to see in this show. Pyrokinesis, telekinesis, super speed, super strength, magnetic powers, gravity manipulation, fucking mind control, heat absorption, and molecular physics. Now included in this awesome package, we have some awesome but hilarious characters, including Eve. We have the beautiful girl squadron, who's basically giant fucking fan service. And we also have, who is, without a question, my favorite guy in anime from now on, Adam fucking Blade. Adam Blade, when I first discovered him, I passed him off as just your regular, or a bit of a crazy anti-hero type guy. I mean, like, I punched a tank in the face and blew it up and that kind of shit. But he's so much fucking cooler. He's so much more fucking badass. He plain just doesn't give a shit. If someone pisses him off, he's going to kick them in the face. He's just goddamn awesome. And while technically he is the hero character, I find it kind of interesting how we're rooting for this guy after he does shit like this.
Do I look like the kind of guy who helps people?
Mr. Priest is broken!
Awaken erotic clothing!
If you're looking for an anime with fast-paced action, comedy, loads of crazy powers, check this out. It's a really, really good show.